Bruce Baker.
Bruce Baker. Bruce Baker, glad to meet you today. I heard a lot about Radius Garden and intrigued by your tools. And as an ergonomist and Vice President for Humantech, I'm always intrigued by innovative designs, and I'm always curious how'd you get started in all this, Bruce?
Well, it's not an exaggeration to say that it got started on an airplane. I was on my way to China where I was making things for another company, and I was flying with a young woman who had torn up her hand gardening.
Oh, it's terrible.
And in fact, she'd torn up her hand gardening with a trowel that's very widely available. And it just got me to thinking, and I couldn't stop thinking about it, so I thought there might be a germ of an idea. And after a couple of months of sketching and quite many months of design, I ended up with something that looked a lot like this. And I was convinced that we were onto something because it addressed all of the issues that I knew that this young woman was having. So this design allows you to hold a garden tool and use it with your wrist in a neutral position, which is the safe position. And it's also a position that will avoid common injuries. Most garden tools require you to extend your wrist and grip, and it's a series of small impacts. I mean, when you're gardening, and I tell people it's like ears. If you went to too many rock concerts, every time you would go, you might get a little cotton in the ear. That's cumulative.
Right.
The same thing is true of the wrist. The wrist is
Absolutely.
one of our weakest components of the body, and so having a tool that doesn't require you to grip hard and allows you to use it even with a completely open hand makes a big difference.
Outstanding, outstanding. So ergonomics means a lot of things to a lot of different people, Bruce. So as a person who's spent a better part of the last decade on this, what does ergonomics mean to you in terms of your design?
It simply means something that you can work naturally with. I think the root words in Latin mean work and natural.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of confusion about that, but if a tool feels good, it probably is good, because a tool, you have to think of a tool as an extension of your body, which is why it's so important that it be a natural extension of your body. So I really think that a lot of what you have to be guided by in tool design and even in purchasing tools is, does it feel good?
Right.
Does it feel like it's going to accomplish the job? So this is another type of tool that we make. This is a stainless steel transplanter. It's a very popular item for us. And it's really, you can see that we worked very hard to define the curvature and the shape of this grip. And if I hold it up against this transplanter, the complete circle is, the circle is completed with the exact same shape. And it just turns out this is, if you look at your hand, one thing you'll notice right away is if you were to pour water on it, there's a little pooling here because there's curvature. And that curvature, and when you have your wrist in a completely neutral position, it turns out that it's not a T. It's actually, there's a little curvature there too. So all of these things take the stress away from your hand and your wrist and all of these tendons and all these weak areas, and they allow you to use the larger, stronger muscles of your arms and shoulders to do the work. So that was the thought behind it, and I just want to show you, these are really two different versions of the same tool. This one we call the Pro. It's stainless steel. It's a heavy duty tool. This is a much lighter weight tool. It's also heavy duty in the sense that it's strong, but we've added a couple of elements here. This is much lighter weight than the Pro. It's maybe better for home gardeners, for many of them, and the lighter weight also has some ergonomic benefits. And of course, in the United States, we're quite tall, so we've given it additional height.
So what are 2 or 3 things that you look for in a properly designed garden tool, Bruce?
Well, the first thing and the most important thing is, does it feel good? If you put it in your hand, does it feel good, and does it feel like it's going to accomplish the task for which you bought it? A second thing is quality, quality of the product. I was just telling you earlier that when we were designing these tools, we went out and we bought every hand tool that we could find. We went to every hardware store, all the garden centers. We bought every brand that we could find, and it turned out that way more than half of them we could just destroy by hand. We could pull them apart, and so you do want to get a sense for whether or not the tool is going to last for you. We guarantee ours for life because we have such a low defect rate that we can afford to do that, and that's really what people want these days when they spend money on an item. So I look for that, and I also I look for the appearance, and we give a lot of thought in our design, not just to the function but also to the appearance, because if you're going to be working with something over a long period of time, you might as well enjoy, not just the feel but also the look.
Well, definitely, if you feel better, you're going to garden longer. And that's,
Yes.
that's sort of, people are gardening longer in their lives than ever before.
That's one of our mottos is garden more, hurt less.
That's right. I like that. I like that a lot. Well, thanks a bunch, Bruce. I really appreciate
Thank you.
all your items, and I'm an avid user of your product, and we're working on our 4th season with our tools. So thanks a bunch.
Great to hear. Thank you.
Great.